What's up, everybody? It's your boy Brandon Blakeney, aka Brandon Lee TV. Welcome back to the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Now, kick back, relax, and come take a ride with your boy. Now, we got some big news on the women's basketball recruiting side. The number one player in the 2024 class, Sarah Strong out of North Carolina, has cut her list to 3 universities. Her top 3 was released, and noticeably missing South Carolina, who we know, her mom and Don Staley had the ties with the Charlotte Sting. And then on the other side, LSU not making the cut either. And we remember Angel Reese sent out that tweet saying it would be crazy to play with Strong as well as Joyce Edwards and Jelani Cambridge for LSU. But LSU has missed on all 3 of those prospects. The Gamecocks, they landed 1. But before we get into all the breakdown, we know it's between now Uconn, who has been called the favorite for the long haul, Duke, and North Carolina, 2 ACC rivals. But how does she fit in with each program, and what is actually the best fit? Before we get into all that, though, make sure y'all hit that subscribe button for all the latest and the greatest, and join our memberships. We got that exclusive content coming daily, weekly, whenever you need it. Now, let's get into it.
You are now locked into the Live with Brandon Blakeney podcast. Here is your host, Brandon Blakeney.
Now, we know what Strong is bringing to the table. She's the Nate Smith Player of the Year. She's a McDonald's All-American. She's the last top 100 player ranked right now that hasn't committed, and she is the undisputed number 1 player in the country for this 2024 class. And, man, she's just one of the most unique talents that you've seen, honestly, with her blend of size and her skill set being able to just be a bully down low, but also stretch the floor. She's got incredible touch around the rim. She's a monster on the glass, but she also has the handles and the ball skill ability to play on the wing as well right now. She can stretch the floor with the 3. She's a monster blocking shots as well. And, seeing her defend pick and rolls as well as being able to enhance her defense to guard perimeter players on the regular is definitely going to take her to the next level at the collegiate level. So I'm looking forward to seeing that from her. But she is an instant impact type of player. She's going to come in and she is going to just be able to carry a team. I mean, just her versatility is something that we don't see a lot. You think of like Alyssa Peely, but she's, different. The similar skill set is that would be like my college comparison, but even better. Like Strong is just physical. She's agile. She gets up and down the floor, and I think I like her bag as far as scoring. I compare it to Peely, but we also have to acknowledge that her biggest asset could be her ability to pass the basketball. She is a player that makes players around her better and makes the game easier for her teammates. I mean, elite outlet passer, court vision is out of this world. Just unselfish, makes the right play. She's a competitor. She's coming from a winning program, a winning situation, and she's cleaned up on the postseason awards for high school. She's just an impact player, immediate, program changer. And all 3 of the schools, Uconn, who has been linked as the favorite for a while now, Duke, and North Carolina are in completely different situations. So let's examine how she will fit with all the programs. Looking at how she would fit at Uconn first, which could be her quickest path to being in a starting lineup in her freshman season. On the recruiting side, Uconn has 2 guards really lined up to come in, so there's no competition from any freshmen, but they do have the freshman post, redshirt freshman, Jana L. Alfie, who will be back. We're not sure exactly what Aaliyah Edwards is going to do, but if she does leave, that's 30.1 minutes per game that are going to open up for Uconn at that 4 and potential 5 spot. depending on how they want to play it next season. So there's opportunity there for Sarah Strong to go ahead and slide into that 4 spot. And you got Paige Beckers coming back as well, AZ Fudd. I know we've seen Paige Beckers as well as Ice Brady in that 4 spot for UConn. You know what I'm saying? They've went with a few different looks. They've went small. They've went big. And I think Brady really showed improvement throughout the season. She got better with every game. And she's going to be a vital piece to this front court. But at the same time, if Sarah Strong's on this roster, Sarah Strong's getting that start at the 4. And I just love how Coach Gino Auriemma uses these forwards and these bigs on his team. They are just a trendsetter at lifting bigs, utilizing the skills of shooters and passers to really, really space and pace with that offense. Coach Auriemma uses his front court players very, very uniquely. He plays to their skill sets and their strengths and does a good job at putting them in a real position to succeed. And he's been one to run his offense through forwards. UConn, as far as scoring the basketball, was a record year. They scored 81.5 points per game. They led their conference in rebounding and assists as well. Now, I know people will mention that they lost a lot of their biggest games. And, they competed hard, but we saw them, most of the ranked games, not non-conference. It was a brutal slate for them. But it was some butt whoopings that were taken as well. But as far as scoring the basketball, they are 9th in the country at the offensive rating. So we know if Strong comes in, she's going to boost that lineup offensively just off her versatility and her passing ability. Things will get easier. She will be another playmaker added to this group. She would give them some much needed depth inside as well. On the glass, we mentioned, they led the conference, but if Aaliyah Edwards bounces, they are absolutely going to need some help on that glass. And then we've seen, what worries us about UConn, all the injuries and just the medical staff, the training staff, and what they're doing, the extra precautions they're taking to really improve the ability for players to stay healthy next season. I think that's going to be a key factor. Strong is not trying to go there and have an ACL injury or miss a season. But I think she's made it clear by cutting South Carolina that she's looking to play immediately, and she wants to have her name in that conversation for Freshman of the Year. And at UConn, she could do that. I think I made a previous video where I talked about, UConn. It seemed like it was like a two-headed race between South Carolina and UConn. And I said it then, and I say it now. UConn needed her more, and she will make a greater impact at UConn quicker than if she went to somewhere like South Carolina. But UConn could definitely use her. They're bringing back a lot of talent next year, but the departure of Aaliyah Edwards, they need someone to fill that void, and there's not really a player on their roster right now that's going to make up that type of production that Edwards has been doing. Sarah Strong would be an immediate fit. She would be great in Auriemma's system with her skill set, passing, shooting it, scoring it down low, stretching the floor. She's going to be a mismatch nightmare for Big East opponents, and I think she is this recruit that could get UConn back to the heights that they were a few years ago when, they had their run. So I think, that would be a major fit. I think they're the favorite right now. It's kind of the consensus. But you also have to look at the two in-state schools as well. Maybe she wants to stay at the crib. North Carolina and Duke right now are kind of in different places. Both of them, I think Carolina underachieved this season. Duke may have overachieved this season. But as far as the recruitment side of things, both these programs have 5-star forwards coming in as well that play the same position as Sarah Strong. So, there will be more competition, I think, for minutes at these two schools. But looking at the breakdown, we'll start with Duke. Now, Duke had some big wins, and I think they made some strides under Coach Carol Lawson. Just seeing, they played big in big games. They knocked off Virginia Tech. They knocked off Florida State. They were tough at home, and I think the sky is the limit for this group. They have a lot of young talent, and, adding Sarah Strong would only boost that for them. But they are already bringing in 3 front court players in the 2024 class. Most notably, 2 5-stars. Toby Fournier, y'all know, who is from Canada, out here catching bodies, dunking the basketball, but she's very skilled, as well as Ariana Robertson, who is going to be, she's a 5-star as well, McDonald's All-American type player. Is going to come in and bring size at 6'3", 6'4". So she's more of a 5, but still, could be competition there for minutes. Now, if you think about a front court with Fournier as well as the future of Sarah Strong, like, that is going to be an athletic and very skilled front court. So some big cornerstone pieces Duke could build with. But you also have to look at the interior players that they will bring back. The freshman and sophomore core returning collectively averaged 33.3 points per game. Now, Duke will lose 2 of their interior players, and that's Kennedy Brown as well as Camilla Imsbo. And they combined to average 39.7 minutes per game, 12.7 points, and 8.4 assists. So there's going to be opportunities for others to step in. Now, Sarah Strong could easily slide into that 4 spot for this group and boost them, give them the star power that they were lacking in that lineup. So I know there's competition and they're bringing in a lot of young pieces, but that's not to say that Sarah Strong still wouldn't be the most talented player on this team. Now, the Blue Devils utilize their front court players as passers, and they let them really make decisions, running the offense through them as well. So that is a system that we have seen Strong flourishing in high school, and that she could continue to elevate her game to the next level at the college game, being that focal point of the offense, being the playmaker, making decisions, getting players the basketball, because she is that type of player that makes other players around her better. So she's going to be one to find space for cutters. She's good in the pick and roll as far as being able to stretch the floor. She can pick, pop, roll, whatever you need her to do. And then they've got those attacking guards who will live in the paint. They're already getting crazy paint touches. So this is like a pro-style offense from Coach Kara Lawson, man. And it's just, it opens up a lot of space to operate. And it opens up opportunities for bigs like Sarah Strong to really create space. And then, she has the potential to play out on the wing as well. So she would definitely bolster the team's perimeter shooting. Duke could definitely use her touch from 3, man. They only shot 32.4% from 3 last season. And they were 10th in the ACC in scoring average, only putting up 69.2 points per game. So you add Strong to that, man, she's going to be a boost scoring the basketball. She's going to create plays, and she's going to really be a monster on that glass for them as well, because, they finished 9th in rebounding. They were kind of getting killed on the boards this year, but Duke could definitely use that interjection of star power, just a forward that could do it all for them. And then, with Strong's ability to space, is definitely going to open up the floor for those guards to attack. I think like at certain points we saw with Duke, sometimes they went on these stretches where they just could not buy a bucket, and some players struggled creating space for their own shots or taking bad shots in general. So Sarah Strong can create more opportunities for these guards to really create, and she can also play it pretty much next to any type of big you need her to. So she would be a great fit for Duke, and the highest rated recruit that Coach Lawson has gotten since she's been there at Duke. So huge momentum. They're bringing in a really good class already, but adding Strong to that group would be monumental for the Blue Devils, and I think they're on the rise. They're a program on the rise right now. They have a lot of young talent that were relied upon to produce, you know what I'm saying, and it really, I think, sped up their trajectory, and now Duke is in a position to compete for an ACC title next year, in my opinion. And you want to load up because you got Stanford coming to town. On the other side, North Carolina, was preseason ranked in the top 25. Deja Kelly, we were expecting some big things. Kelly did not disappoint, man. She has been freaking hooping. Shout out to Deja Kelly. She's just one of the best bucket getters in the nation. But as a team, they haven't really delivered. After the Uconn loss, it seemed like they just kind of sputtered. And I mentioned it in a previous video before that game, and was talking about how it was going to be a momentum boost for one of those teams. Whoever would go on to win that game would have a very good season. Uconn took the game, took the Big East, and, they haven't really looked back since. So, Carolina, this would be huge. They do bring in some really good recruits, forwards that play the same position as Sarah Strong. They have a 5-star in Blanca Thomas of their own coming in. So, the young core with the Heels is very talented as well, and they'll continue to develop. We mentioned Blocker Thomas, 5-star recruit coming in. They also bring back Sierra Toomey, who was a freshman this season and a 5-star recruit. Just very versatile post players. They can play the 4, the 5. So it'll be interesting to see the opportunities that mixing them with Strong could create. I mean, those 3 players are interchangeable right there, so that would be exciting, man. The thing is, though, this situation may be the toughest for Sarah Strong to see the starting lineup, like to be a starter next season. She would definitely get big minutes with this group, but along with bringing back Toomey and bringing in Thomas, you also have Maria Gakdang, who started this year, and Tiana Key. They're both expected to return, and that's 32 minutes per game right there. And then, of course, you got Alyssa Usby, who kind of plays the same position as Strong as well at that playmaking, creating 4 for this group. That's 33.8 minutes as well. And then you got it, man. We're definitely expecting her to be back in this lineup just with her versatility. 12.4 points per game, 9.3 rebounds. She can pass the ball. She gets blocks as well. So that would be one of the best front courts already next year. But then you also add in Sarah Strong, and I mean, the sky's the limit for this group. The thing I like is that a lot of these players are interchangeable in this front court, and there's a lot of versatility. So Sarah Strong would fit in beautifully with this group. Just with her passing ability, it would give them another playmaker. It would take some pressure off of Usby because it was pretty much her and Kelly running the show this year. It wasn't a whole lot of other creators on this group. The biggest key here, I think, is Sarah Strong could really help the Hills out with her playmaking ability, her passing, because they definitely lacked that this past season. But also, I think as well as her rebounding, they desperately need a big that can really compete on the glass night in and night out. The Tar Heels only averaged 70.4 possessions per game, and they had an assist rate of just 49.6, which put them 96th in an offensive rating. They were 11th in scoring in the ACC and second to last in assist. They shot 30.6% from 3 and were 7th in the ACC in rebounding. Not finishing top 5 in any of those categories will have your team underachieving. And Sarah Strong could impact them the most maybe at Carolina because she could fill a lot of these voids and help just boost the star power on this team. Unlike the other 2 programs, it doesn't really feel like Carolina is on the rise right now. And that's the biggest thing. Like, this would be the biggest impact for Sarah Strong if she were to go to Carolina, but it wouldn't be the easiest path to success with this group. But they do have a lot of front court players at her position. Now, to be clear, Sarah Strong is better than all of them. I think we can safely say that. But at the same time, like, Usby's been there. She knows the system. Toomey has waited her turn a little bit. Thomas is a McDonald's All-American, 5-star type level recruit in her own right. So, she's going to be competing for minutes. So, there's a lot of log jams here, you know what I'm saying? It's clogged up a little bit, but they could use that influx of talent from Sarah Strong, man, because I think Carolina underachieved this year, and it may not be an extremely desired situation. It's great that she kept them in the top 3, and knowing that, she's right there by the campus, like, in that same city, playing basketball in the Raleigh-Durham area, Chapel Hill area, the Triangle. That's big. Maybe she wants to stay home and make her own legacy, because we've seen players recently, Juju Watkins stayed at the crib, went to USC, and, hey, it's worked out beautifully for her. So, Sarah Strong could do that same thing for North Carolina. But y'all let me know, what are the chances? How do y'all think this will go down? Who has the best chances of landing her? Is it a foregone conclusion she's going to Uconn? It is the top 3. We are down to it. We're getting the crunch time. Y'all let me know how y'all feel in the comments. That's a wrap for us. For all the latest and the greatest, I am Brandon Blakeney, a.k.a. Brandon Lee TV. Until next time, hey, we out.